if I just tell the story, so in the organisation I work with, it was really interesting. We realised, we were from Australia, we started there, and we realised if we're going to reach Australians, we have to, like the woman at the well, when Jesus went into Samaria, we have to go to where the people are. We say to people, where is your well? Where is the centre of your community? That's where the church needs to be. And so what we've been trying to do is to get the church to say, how do we... The church has left the building. That's what we're basically saying. We want to leave the building and be where the people are. But the thing that is so profound about the story of the woman at the well, Jesus invested in one woman who transformed her community because she couldn't shut up. She'd met the Messiah. She ran down the street. Could this be the Messiah, you know? And they begged him to stay. And you just, what we have to do, I believe, and this is what has been so profound, we have to go to where the people are. So in Australia, we decided, well, everybody in Tasmania, the island at the bottom, 90% of Australians go to the, Tasmanians go to the agricultural show. So we went to every agricultural show, and 90% of Tasmanians knew who we were. They didn't all come to our part of the festival. But what we chose to do was this. We said, look, if we could just do something to show people what the kingdom looks like. You know, we can talk all about it, but if we could just show that this is what the kingdom looks like. When you see the kingdom, it's so attractive. You just know. And what's the kingdom like? You know, Jesus says it's like a wedding feast, a party, a celebration. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes as Christians we're so serious. We've got to learn to relax and enjoy. You know, Jesus says, unless you become like a child, you can't enter the kingdom. And the more that we can relax and be children. And this is the thing that I really love about festival. I think the whole fairy dust of the festival is where people are just free to be themselves. You know, Jesus says the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. But when your spirit is willing, because what does Paul say? God's spirit meets our spirit. We know who we are and we cry, Abba, Daddy. And so at a festival, what we want to do is just to have everyone coming from their own spirit, fun, free, and we create a structure. And so for 45 years, our organisation's been working out how do we move people from this to all dance and the hokey pokey, or the, you know, because what we want to do is to get people to experience what the kingdom's like. And we were having a great chat before about how do we meet the needs of the community, rather than just come and saying Jesus is the answer and they're still saying what's the question. It's so much better why people say, what are you people on? How come you're so friendly? What's this about? You know, and so then we get a chance to speak. And so what we've learned over these 45 years, we've learned how you move different phases of the festival, how you move people on. But there's a couple of key ingredients, and one is that we make kids the stars. We don't bring bands in and play where everyone claps them. We clap the kids. You know, I remember at one festival, this little girl said, I want to be a princess. And the face painter drew a crown and the stars, and the little girl went, oh, wow. And she said to everybody, she went to the team leader and said, I'm a princess. And we think every little girl's got to feel a princess, every little boy, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, you know? And that's what our job is, to just make kids the stars. So we actually say to our team, learn the names of 10 kids, high fives, sore jaws, some smiling, because we want to show people the kingdom. And then, always, you know, I just find this really interesting. We keep saying the life of the team is the ministry. What do I mean by that? Why did the early church grow? They loved each other so much. You know, one day 3,000, the next 5,000. They just worked together. They had such an attractor because they were just themselves and they weren't trying. They shared their everything. They shared life together. And I think that's what we've missed too much in the church. We want it to grow, but how much are we really doing life and community together? And a festival, if it's an expression of the life in the church that's just alive, that is the biggest attractor. And so, what are our goals? Well, our goals are to make friends for Jesus. I really like that, you know. Watchman Nee says, Jesus, all he ever wanted was to make friends, you know. And so we've got to get to know him, you know. Like, we're so keen to tell them about Jesus, but unless we build a bridge, like Jesus built this beautiful bridge with the Samaritan woman. Remember, his first question wasn't, hello, do you know that I'm the Messiah? What does he say? Can you give me a drink of water? Son of God had a need. And he asked. He's not afraid to ask. And so we want to make friends for Jesus. We want to show what the kingdom's like. And here's the key to it. We want it to be a first step in a process of personal transformation and also community transformation. So our guys in Albania, they run these festivals, and we'll describe them all. You're actually going to, those of you coming to Shizuoka, you see a festival, we're going to run one. But in Albania, we've been running these festivals now for 8 years, and we're discipling 500 people. And I just know, why I'm passionate about it, I'm an evangelist. I just want to see people meet Jesus. Mm-hmm. But it's just been such a great way to make friends for Jesus, for people to meet who meet Jesus. You know, like, they're not going to read the Bible in a hurry, but if they meet us, they meet Jesus. Because the risen life of Christ lives in us. Now, okay, I know we're not perfect, but it's like, I was saying a couple of people earlier, I wasn't a Christian when my parents sent me off to a boarding school. And the boarding house master, there was something about him that was so different to any person I'd ever met before. And I just remember saying to myself, what he's got, I want. And I just became a Christian, largely because I saw it in that guy. Mm-hmm. And you know, he mentored me for 47 years, and when he died, I went to his funeral, there were 3,000 people there. But there was something about his life that just spoke. Well, I want that at a festival. I want people to see the kingdom. I want them to see the risen life of Christ that's in me and in all of us. And that only happens as we're free and we're just ourselves. And so what we've worked on over the years, we've made so many mistakes, but now we're running them in 81 countries. We've got this U-shape. What we do over the 3 hours, we do a whole series of games in the U-shape. We have activities around in the centre. We do some games. But what's the key? The key is celebration. It's showing people the kingdom. And we've learned some tools and some resources that have just meant that by the end of the 3 hours, people don't want to go. They're just so happy. This guy here has seen them in Kipseli, you know, and you know what we did in Kipseli? Because we say that our values are generosity, hospitality and kindness. And in Kipseli, when the refugees came to Greece, you know what we did? Philemon, who's the team leader there, he stood up and invited all these refugees, and he said, as a Greek person, I want to say to you, welcome to Athens. We're really glad you're here. How can we care for you? And he got everyone to clap them and welcome them. Well, these people from Syria just were crying and crying. They wept openly because they felt for the first time someone really wanted them to be there. Well, hospitality most literally means be a lover of strangers. You know, that's what our job is. And so what we're trying to do with festivals is to show hospitality, generosity because we make it for free, and then we want to show a kindness. You know, the kindness of God. Wow. And a kind deed can change your day, can change your life. And that's what we see happens at a festival. And I guess what is so exciting, because I'll finish with this, you know, some of you guys are going to hear this in the training, but it's so wonderful at Hongudai where we're working, because we did this training to years ago, and now we're running festivals just every 2 or 3 months. And what is so incredible is all these kids have started coming to church, and now they're inviting their parents to come. And we're seeing new people in church just all the time, and the people in church just can't believe it. What? All we did was have fun and play games, and people have started coming to church, And so we've got this goal of 100 kids coming to faith during the summer program, because we run 3 months or 3 festivals in different places around Hongadai, and then at the end of the last festival, or all of them, we'll be inviting kids to a day camp. We're getting a couple of 100 kids at the day camp, but we're just believing, because we don't preach, we don't normally preach at a festival, but because we do them so often at Hongadai, we just get some testimonies from some of it, and people just love it. And what I didn't tell you, I'll just finish with this story because it was so beautiful. The other day, one of the guys, Samuel, who speaks, who runs the festival, he spoke at the Father's Day festival last year, and he told his story. Some of you heard his story the other day. He's half French, half Japanese, but he's always felt he was Japanese, but because he doesn't feel as though he looks Japanese, he found it really hard. And his oldest brother was good at school, his next brother was good at sport, and he said he was good at being naughty, because that's all he felt he could do. And he ended up in jail, and his father would come each month and regularly to visit, and he just saw the love of his father towards him, and that's what finally broke him. And so we had a festival, and he felt God said, share the story. So he told the story of him being in jail, and it's not easy for a Japanese person to tell everybody. All these people in the church didn't even know this about him. And then he said, and I want to tell you, I want to acknowledge what my father did. He said, I've got a gift for him. And he got his father out, gave him a gift, and they told the story of the prodigal son. And his father spoke about what it had meant. They gave an appeal. 20 people responded in that moment. Wow. And it's like we'd won the right to talk. And it wasn't, no one felt they were being preached at, but they just saw. It was like the kingdom came. Have you had moments where it's like, it's bigger than space and time. The kingdom falls. And you go, what's happening here? And that's what happened in this moment. And it's so exciting because we've got Japanese models that are happening. The church we're going to tomorrow, that Michi's going to pick us up in Osaka and take us to his church, they do festivals really regularly. They've got stories like this too. And there's a sports academy just north of Tokyo, and we've been running festivals there, and they're telling we're getting all these new people in church. We're having a gospel choir, because you know what our biggest challenge is? It's a long way to go from a festival to church. So what do we do? That's why we have gospel choir. That's why we've got kids clubs. We've got programs for teenagers. We've got a young mums group. And we're trying to work out. We say festivals are fun for all the family because we want everyone to be included. And so just to finish, it's a crazy goal we have. But we're believing over from the Rugby World Cup through to the end of next year for 500 different communities to run festivals and for us to reach 1 million people. And every time I say it, I can almost hear a part of me saying, no way, but the eyes of faith say, I really believe we can do this. But we'll only do it. We're training teams. Some of your teams, guys, one of the reasons you're here, we want to train you so you can train others to run festivals. It's all online. We've got everything there. We want to show you because we want you to come in to churches that haven't ever run a festival. You bring your parachute, you bring some of the games, you teach them, leave some stuff and encourage them to keep going. And then come the next year, because remember I said all these teams coming, we want to encourage you to think of a 4-year commitment. We, at our festivals during the rugby, we're just going to be playing touch rugby, we're going to be teaching skills, we're going to have rugby festivals. Not just that, we still have a girls' zone and we teach spinning plates. Over this weekend, this guy juggles. You're going to learn to juggle on Friday. Spin a plate. We'll teach you to face paint. Jen's pretty good at face paints. You know, we'll teach you to balloon sculpt. We want to show you some of the resources that you can do. And you know what? We've got to make it sustainable. Like, we've got bouncy castles and all sorts of things. But in Africa, all we have is rope and balloons, and that's all. And we have an incredible festival because it's about building community. You know, so it's not about, and in Albania they run out of paint, so they just go like that to a kid. Oh, great, I've been facing we just, you know what I mean, like, because the danger is you'll think, oh no, we need this and we need that, but people hunger for community. Like, I'm convinced when you're born, there's two great needs: for purpose and meaning, belonging and community. Come on, that's it. And you've got to belong before you believe. You've got to feel that these people really like me. I love it when they say, what? How come you're so friendly? And you watch, if you've done well at a festival, at the end of the time, people, oh, it's so great. They just go, no one wants to go. It's something magical. It's better than Disney, truly, you know, because it's real. And you know what it is? The child inside. Unless you become like a child, you can't enter the kingdom. Stop being so serious. Come on. We've just got to learn to have fun. So that's what we're trying to do. And guys, you AOGers and, you know, what we're going around to all the denominations. And you know, it's so great. I went and talked to the Salvation Army the other day. The whole youth department, I'm training them because young people are just brilliant at festivals because they're so free and they have so much fun together. And that's what we want to do. We're doing the same with the Seventh-day Adventists. We've talked to the Catholics. We're just kingdom. We're just finding people who love Jesus. And we're not trying to work out our theology. Do you believe in infant baptism? What about speaking? No. Do you love Jesus? You know, if you agree with the basic, we don't invite the Mormons or the JWs or anything like that, but we just invite people who love Jesus and want to work together. And that's what our job is. So it's crazy. 1 million people. Wow. But I just believe this is what God wants. Mm-hmm. So there you go. That's what we're doing. You guys will see some training. You'll see it. We're going to do a little festival and at Shizuoka and you'll see the sports clinic. But I want to help you guys to be able to train others. But I'd love to keep talking with you guys about how we can do this together. And we don't care if it's just a church. We love it when it's a number of churches working together. You know, that's not simple here in Japan, but wherever we can, that's what we love to do. It's so great to be able to say, brought to you by the churches of Hongudai or your community rather than just your own. But look, it's okay, we're not, you know. But you know what we do say? I've already said last thing, and this is definitely the last thing. But here it is. We say, we're not going to help anyone unless you have a next step. Because what we don't need is everyone clap you and say, what a lovely church, and people say, what are you doing next? And you say, oh, well, next year we might do another festival. No, we want to say, next week we've got this, we've got this, we've got this, we've got a kids club, we've got a program. You know, and so it's going to challenge you. And here's the challenge. What are you going to do when new people turn up to your church? In Sydney, now please, I do not guarantee this, we had 250,000 people turn up to 120 festivals. And one church, we did a festival on the Friday afternoon before the opening ceremony. And then on the Sunday, 52 new people turned up to church. People just, what? What's this about? Now, as I said, I can't guarantee you that, but I know it works. And what we want to do on the opening night, end of July, it's going to be an incredible moment. Japan's waited 7 years for this moment. So what we do is we do a festival for 3 hours, outside in the community is the best thing, could be in front of a church, but we really like it to be right in the centre of the community. The church, the nation wants to celebrate. Here's our moment. We put on this celebration and we do the festival 3 hours, we all sit down and we watch the opening night. It's nice and warm, it's July, and I tell you, when Japan marches in, you know, the last nation to march in is always the host nation. you'll hear the cheering around the country, but you'll hear the cheering. And people just can't believe that the church has put this on. Because you see, it's not the picture they have of the church. But that's what our job is. We've got to break the picture and we've got to get out into the community. Now, festival's not the only way to do it, but we're just finding it's just working. And so, yeah, and we have this saying in Australia, if you want to do something badly enough, you find a way. If you don't want to, you find an excuse. And I sort of like it because I think, if you want to do it, you just got to find a way. This is a moment, and that's why we're here. As Brian said, we don't want people afterwards to say, oh, if only we knew it was this big. It is this big, truly. I feel like all the time because I visit pastors and people all across Japan, and I think some of them don't believe that the Olympics is really, they think, oh, you're just an Aussie, it's not really that big, but it is. And, like 1964 year, the legacy's still there. There's a national holiday from sport. It was such a moment, wasn't it? Oh, you're too young, you guys, but
I was 4 years old.
I was 8. But I remember it. I remember it and seeing everyone saying sayonara. That was sayonara. That was the first time I learned a Japanese word. Haven't done much better since that one, actually. But yeah, it was amazing, and it's going to be like that in Japan. They're going to do a great job, and it's going to just explode. For now there's all politics, but you wait. We get closer and closer, everything builds and kapow. And we want the church to be ready. So there you go, guys.